to whomever, wherever, whenever this does reach you. Get comfy. Let the day go, let the week go. Let whatever you need to go, go, if only for a moment, while we discuss. I got caught up on the word because I'm like, at this moment, there's not much discussion. Not that doesn't mean that we aren't open to it. Who knows? Things evolve. Just like our relationship with relaxation. See what I did there? Let the breath become smoother and deeper and just altogether more pleasurable. The art from our message from in between this week is one of those that took several weeks in the sort of on the back burners before figuring out how to birth it into the Lance verse. Otterverse? I don't know. But it is of a space-suited Lance L. Otter standing on some sort of amorphous rock and or cloud-like structure that supports a multi-tiered, multi-dimensional cake of sorts, like a tiers of a wedding cake stacked on each other, but each one being a different reality. They end up being different cities. And I imagine that the same thing is what's going on in the floaty, trippy background of half-formed ideas, bridges, pathways, perhaps long forgotten, who knows? But I'd like to think that each of the layers is its own functional reality, and that is just one access point in. But I did also draw him with something that resembles a large fork. So, mixed messages. I want these to continue, and yet also at the same time set them up to be devoured. What is going on? I do have to take a moment, though, just for posterity's sake, whenever I listen to these again. I tried a new technique of silhouette carving for Lance this week, and it produced some interesting results. Like, I'm not unpleased with it, and it's definitely got me thinking about experimenting, which is good, because I've been at that what am I doing it for dance or circle around the drain sometimes. And so impartial answer to that is me drawing even more of the things that I wanted to be, which is funny to me how any limitations that I might perceive on me were put on me by me. So I could already draw whatever I want, but I found, I don't know, a new freedom in exploration, as opposed to just purely presentation. The message part of the message from in between this week is titled Backups. how long's it been since you've checked in on your machinations? Hmm? What helpful schemes and backup plans need updating, and which ones could be dissolved? Maybe there's a better option than throwing them all out or scavenging for something useful. Open-ended, unresolved spells. Special projects empowering living life. Trademark for the non-WoW. But open-ended, unresolved spells are a drain. As are the promises that you've made to yourself and forgone or forgotten. Promises that were made to gain compliance of our body, mind, and spirit, in lieu of motivation and willingness to keep going. We choose to keep going towards our wants and our chosen destinies. But how could you have the free will to choose if all of your actions are predetermined? Well, the movie's made. It exists. The parts were played and the actors paid. Now you're watching it, and none of that matters the more enticing it grows. While you're watching it, it doesn't matter whether it happened before or will again, because it's happening for you right now. As you immerse yourself in the experience, everything else seems to fade away. So it's easy to lose what you've left behind. However, the body takes score, and it can bog you down. Like having too many apps running on your phone slows it down. Maybe see what's running in the background, stealing some of your speed, when it was just trying to sync up and keep up. Clear your spiritual cache. Your astral browsing history is showing. This week's 3-card draw is from 3 different decks, giving us Page of Swords, 3 of Cups reversed, and number 19, Waterfalls, inviting us to consider you'll get another chance soon enough. Shake off the feelings of failure. Some things take hard work as part of the deal. Waterfalls are for finding and rejuvenation, not for chasing. This session of Psychic Sleep will be touching on themes of back burners, bogged down, and B-team machinations. I almost didn't want to do a little vid loop for the next part because I thought it would be nice to jump off into the art, but a little bit of what I affectionately refer to as my photography. Oh. Yes, okay. I thought I might have made the mistake of drowning out the audio. Luckily, that's only happened once. No, that is the nature of live entertainment. Things can and will go wrong. And that's okay. We're here. right here, right now, wherever and whenever that is. And so hopefully you've stretched out your breathing just a little bit to match your willingness to show yourself the levels of relaxation that you've achieved. As anybody, good posture is always good, but is anybody watching you right now? No. If not, relax. Especially if you're lying down and on your way towards sleep. Now, that's not to say that good posture is not an important yogic value. We condition the spine for the energies to flow more fully. But right now, we're just relaxing on what may or may not be a Sunday evening. I was thinking about it, and it's this beautiful spot where these offerings will be the wrapping up of someone's week and the beginning, jumping off point for another. Ah, that wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff, right? And on that vibe of not being bogged down, imagine that pristine water is flowing over you. And you may like it cold and crisp and clear, or you may like it warm and washing, friendly to spray off, to hose off, to shower off, to cleanse off anything, any muck any moss that might have been growing due to procrastination or indecision. Whatever shapes those stresses had and whatever shapes they've become as they've attached to you. Let the waterfall be a symbol of release for you in this moment. As before, it can be any temperature you want to. It is the waterfall in your mind's eye, after all, that you are seeing, and in the mind's senses that you are feeling. And the water is that interesting mixture of forceful and non-resistant. Maybe you need to feel the water pound and beat and massage and loosen up. Or maybe you need that encouraging flow to get in between those nooks and crannies and hard to reach spaces, all those little improvised glues that we've used to hold on to our stresses, our wounds, and other astral baggage. achieved symbiosis and they just need a misting. You never know. In a world with infinities, many things are all things are possible, are they not, in true infinities? But allowing the metaphor of water to change your current relationship with your stresses and stress factors. Because they could be tricky. It'd be like, I know I need this to stay on my mind and on my heart, otherwise I'll never deal to it. And how long? Leaving those on the back burner, those types of thoughts that may be using up resources. We can move from a waterfall to a metaphor of the stove and of heat and of burners, keeping things heated whilst we focus elsewhere on the closer, the perhaps bigger ones. Maybe some of those, in this new metaphor, we can start to turn off with our imagination, assessing, oh, that issue. Let's dial that one back. Over here, over there. You'll know where. And reminding yourself relaxation is an art. It is indeed something we're capable of, but not everybody does it the same and with equal skill. We think we have to hold on to our issues as opposed to giving space. Relinquishing control over every single tiny aspect. So many different glues that we use to stick to our stressors. Sometimes bad, like lazy, or bad in itself as a word, that those judgments, again, that we use to stick to the things that stress us out. Maybe you like that heat metaphor and you can loosen the glues, or you need to go back to your water metaphor and dissolve the bonds to some of these stressors, especially I'm not good enough. Or no one likes me, no one likes the things that I'm doing. All of those outdated ways that we used to use for motivation that simply just won't cut it anymore. So we turn off all those extra imaginary burners. Maybe keeping the vengeance pot simmering off to the side. Pettiness guilt, shame, it's things that we think we should have or could have done, especially placing those expectations onto our past self. We gotta dissolve those too. Just for a moment, just experimentally while we're together. Oh, and one more visualization is coming through as we're just sorting, sifting, chopping metaphors, same goals. Perhaps you can hold on to a crystal in your mind and have it be, or hold all of the limitations that you've placed on yourself. What are some other words people use? That which no longer serves you. That which is taking up a fraction of the infinite flow within you. But in this instance, it's all that woe, worry, and attachments to things that did work for us before, but just don't work the same. Even some of them maybe we're fooling ourselves that it ever did. That is a testament to the beauty and ingenuity of the human mind and experience. We really can craft with an infinite palette and infinite resources inside of our minds once we get past the limitations that were imposed upon us and those that we imposed upon ourselves. Turning burners off, dissolving the glue and the bonds. Maybe staying small protected you in the past. Maybe it will again. But does it need to be taking up as many internal resources as has been allocated to it? Maybe you'd prefer to tweak numbers and dials, seeking for balance throughout the systems. Right? Maybe it's dissolving glue. Or maybe it's turning off another burner. I'm gonna blame the multi-tiered universal cake for our many perspective view that's coming through this evening. But just imagine what would it be like to focus even more allowing yourself to imagine yourself into a positive situation in your near future. A moment, a reminder maybe to stop and count your blessings, to shake up your mindset. And in place of the way that you would have acted and or reacted, now imagine giving yourself the space, the freedom, and the grace to give your full attention to something. And for some this may be a huge percentage, for others it may just be in the point this and 0 point that percentage. That's fine. just honing in on the feel good, because if it doesn't feel good, why do it in the first place? And I know that's an oversimplification of yoga, but why do yoga? Because it feels so good. Why do psychic sleep? Because it feels good. I hope it feels good for me. To develop a deeper relationship with relaxation, as well as altered states of consciousness and visualization shenanigans. I value those things, so that's why I'm offering them. As an opportunity to breathe a sigh of relief from deep in the soul. To facilitate in the releasing of tensions and encourage you to express yourself, because that's what I'm trying to do, express myself as fully and completely as I can in the moment, taking in all the factors and admitting that you can't take on all of the factors. All we can do is our best, and just allowing ourselves to exist a moment longer. And the hope and the experience that there is something innate, there's an innate feel good that's written about, and you can tap into it. And I'm trying to tap into it even more fully. We're wrapping around a little back, but it should feel good. And if not, ask yourself why. How could I feel better in this moment? It's okay to be selfish, just for this one little moment together. What would make you more comfortable? And for those of you that said for you to stop talking, wish granted. Ha 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 ha. But imagine having the thing that you want or know would facilitate the feeling of completion. Visualize it. Attune to it. Attract it. Discover it. The options are endless. And sort of letting all the blurry nonsense at the periphery of our awareness settle. Sinking back into that. What is the word I want to say? Ensorcelling, encapsulating, enrapturing experience of the breath. Allowing the breath in as well as the breath out to be as pleasurable as you would like them to be. As pleasurable as you're actually going to give yourself permission to feel. All by sipping the breath. depths of the breath. So making sure that all the appropriate burners are turned off. Any dishing and cleaning up can be left to the support staff in our mind. Glue dislodged. Things that, in ways that were outdated, are now upgraded, or at least given attention before closing them, like browsers that you're not using, and are not going to fool yourself into thinking that you're going to use just by virtue of the clutter being in front of your face. See, back from the lands of abstraction into the here and the now. The right here and the right now. And if you are headed off into the lands of slumber, many blessings upon your way. Thank you for your interaction. And feel good, feel well, be happy. For the rest of us, just acknowledging that we slipped out of this state for a moment and finding ourselves back in the here and now with the breath that fills the body and the life that fills the limbs. And gradually come back. You don't have to come back so quickly to the default settings. Check in with your dashboard. Thank you so much. Hari Om Tat Sat, my friends. This has been Psychic Sleep for the 12th of January 2025. May it be helpful whenever and wherever, however it gets to you. As with our sleeping friends, and the thing that I wish for us all to feel good, feel well, and be happy. Thank you for watching, and if you want to help out, likes, comments, subscribes, shares, donations, all those things, I would wholeheartedly appreciate. As long as they're nice. Yeah.